Hi, this is Dave, Bell Running Guide. Welcome to this week's navigation task. This week we have a trig point and we have a feature circled on the map. And I want you to work out what trig point we are at and what the feature is that I've circled. The map is the Ordnance Survey 1 to 50,000 and I've got 4 trig points circled on there. So we've got A at Shining Tor, B at Burbage Edge, C at Axe Edge, and D at Shuttling Slough. So let's have a look at some of the landscape features. What can we see? Well, obviously we're on a high point for a trig point and we're right next to what looks like a wall. But walls aren't shown on Ordnance Survey 1 to 50,000 maps, so that's no use to us. We have to look at the landscape features. Now it looks like just ahead of the trig point, just ahead of us on the ground drops away suddenly. We've got this horizon line here, so the ground drops away fairly steeply. We can't see anything in the sort of middle distance. It's hidden in dead ground, but then what we can see is a prominent feature with steep ground on both sides, and that's going to have contours very, very close together at the top, almost like a ring contours because of the peak shape there. And then just back towards us we've got a large area of trees, and then we've got some more trees here and here. So let's have a look at the map and see if we can find any of those features. So could we be looking from A over ground that drops away just ahead of the trig? Well, yes, we could. We could be looking either westwards or southwestwards from there. Could we be looking from Burbage Edge trig? Well, we couldn't be looking west or southwest because the ground is flat from there. We could possibly be looking eastwards, see the contours close together in here. Whether or not we'd see the top of some trees there, possibly. But also, if we were looking east from there, we'd be looking off the map, so we wouldn't see that distinctive peak in the distance, so we can discount B. Similarly with C, we couldn't be looking westwards or southwestwards because that's a flat profile. The only steep ground dropping away is again to the east, either the northeast, the east or the southeast, and again that doesn't let us see that peak in the distance, so it's not C. What about D? The ground does drop away steeply in all directions, so we could be looking from D. Then we have to think about those trees and the shape of the peak in the distance. So let's go back to the photograph. Okay, so we've established that we're either looking from A or D. So let's see if we can work out the feature, the shape of this prominent hill here. Drops steeply away to the left and then less steeply. Drops steeply away to the right and then less steeply. But the drop on the left-hand side as we look is further. Okay, so it drops further on the left than it does on the right. So, could we be looking at Shuttling Slough? Look at the ring contours around the top. That indicates quite a prominent peak. The ground drops away steeply and then less steeply. And then if we were looking from Shining Tor, on the right hand side of Shuttling Slough, the ground drops away steeply and then less steeply with this flatter area in here. So we could be looking down onto that and then this flat area coming in here. What about the other way around? Could we be looking over to Shining Tor? Well, that's very steep on the left hand side as we were looking, but not as steep on the right. So that peak wouldn't be symmetrical. It wouldn't drop steeply on the left and steeply on the right. it will drop steeply on the left and less steeply on the right. So that indicates that we're looking from A to D. What about the trees? Well, if we were going in a straight line from A over to here, we'd cross over this high ash farm area of trees. So that would be that. What about this little area of trees going back up the hillside on the other side of the valley? Well, that would be that going up there. And then we've got another little area of trees again before we get to the peak. Well, that would be those in there. So our answer this week is we're looking from Shining Tor trig point over to the trig point on Shuttling Slow. So not too difficult. Hope you got it right. But it's always good to spend some time looking at maps. So thanks for watching. Look out for next week's navigation task. Bye for now.